Are you thinking about relocating to North Carolina and trying to decide whether Raleigh or Wilmington is the right fit for your family? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of both areas and showing you the real differences that matter for professionals and families that are planning to move to the area. Major things like job opportunities, schools, safety, lifestyle, and costs when it comes to homes and insurance. Hi, I'm Trish with Dare Realty Group, your trusted relocation expert right here in the Raleigh area. And I help a lot of families say, we love Raleigh's opportunities, but living at the beach sounds amazing too. So you're not alone, but choosing the right family comes down to what's best for your daily life and your long-term growth. So let's dive in. I'm going to start off with location. Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina, and it's surrounded by a lot of fast-growing metro areas. Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, Chapel Hill, Durham are all always growing at a fast pace and always on the top places to move. Now, when you compare that to Wilmington, Wilmington is a coastal city. It's along the Cape Fear River. It's close to the beaches such as Wrightsville and Carolina Beach. The difference comes when you look at the population. Wilmington only has about 127,000 residents, where when you look at Raleigh has 480,000 people, plus you have the suburb. For instance, the suburb of Cary, which has 180,000 people, is actually bigger than Wilmington. So for families who want strong schools, professional access, and access to healthcare, Raleigh may be the better choice. In fact, today I'm coming to you from Dorothea Dix Park, which is right outside the downtown area, and you can see the skyline of Raleigh behind me. This is a great park that is located just south of the city. It's about 300 acres, all different fun things. They just added this really amazing park. It's called the Gibson Play Area. It's been voted best in the Southeast. Raleigh and Wilmington are about 130 miles apart, so about a 2 to 2.5 hour drive from Raleigh to Wilmington. So not a bad drive. You can do it in a day. You can have a nice weekend. In fact, we go there a lot for the weekend just to get down to the beach and to the coast, but not somewhere that you're going to want to make a daily commute to. Next, let's take a look at how the cities compare when it comes to growth, the economy, the market, and job opportunity. Raleigh is near the Research Triangle Park, which is a national hub for tech and research. In fact, it's one of the biggest employers here in our area. We have lots of companies coming to the area and a lot of high-paying jobs in the Raleigh area for finance, healthcare, biotech, and engineering. And you'll notice that the towns of Cary, Apex, and Holly Springs reflect the type of businesses that are here because the median household incomes are a lot higher than the national averages. And then when we compare that to Wilmington, Wilmington's economy is built around healthcare, which is Novant. They're one of the biggest employers in Wilmington. You have UNC Wilmington, which is the college that's in the town and also brings in some jobs. And then you have some manufacturing. But most of the jobs in the Wilmington area are going to be around that hospitality and tourism because it is a coastal town. So if your career benefits from being near major companies or corporate offices, Raleigh is the stronger choice. Many of the Wilmington residents rely on remote work because the local professional landscape is limited. And then when it comes to housing, both areas offer beautiful communities, but the feel is different in the Raleigh area. You're going to find more master plan communities in the Raleigh area and a growing amount of new construction. Then comparing that to Wilmington, where you're going to have more coastal properties. And some areas outside of Wilmington, such as Leland, are doing a lot more new construction, but they are focusing more towards retirees. Also in Wilmington, you are going to have some historic homes that are along the downtown. And then of course, you're going to have those coastal properties, the properties along the water, along the intercoastal, and up along the Cape Fear River. One thing to consider if you are thinking about moving to Wilmington versus Raleigh is the amount of insurance, home insurance, and flood insurance that you may need for a property. You are going to find that those costs are going to be significantly higher than what you would find in the Raleigh area. And by the way, if you're relocating to North Carolina and trying to figure out which city truly fits your lifestyle, your career, and your goals, reach out today because I work with relocating families every single week and I help them understand the neighborhoods, the commutes, and the lifestyle differences so that they can make a confident choice. Earlier, I mentioned homeowners insurance. And that is something that's definitely a reality. If you're living on the East Coast in Wilmington, you're going to have higher costs and some higher risk when it comes to homeowners insurance, flood insurance. In fact, it could be anywhere from 2 to 3 times more than you would pay for homeowners insurance here in Raleigh. And that's because it is prone to having hurricanes, tropical storms, and could be flooding depending on where you're at in that Wilmington area, because you also have the Cape Fear River. So you're surrounded by a lot of water. We do experience some hurricane weather here as well. Some tropical systems do come inland to the Raleigh area. Occasionally we do get higher winds, but we're not worried about the storm surge that you would worry about if you were on the coast. And then when it comes to weather, there are a lot of similarities, but also some differences. Wilmington doesn't get as cold, I would say, as the Raleigh area. So today it's the middle of December. It is a little chilly out today. It's in the upper 40s. And you'll find that in Wilmington, it is going to be a little bit warmer just because you have that humidity that's coming in off of the ocean. So you're always going to have weather that's a little bit more humid and a little bit warmer. But again, we have the 4 seasons here. They still have 4 seasons there. They're just slightly a few degrees warmer than you would find in the Raleigh area. And then when it comes to healthcare access, I think this is the biggest differentiator between the two regions. In Wilmington, you have Novant Healthcare versus here in the Raleigh area, you have UNC Healthcare, you have Duke Healthcare, and Wake Med, 3 very large hospitals. And then the newly announced Children's Hospital that's going to be coming to the area. It's a partnership between UNC and Duke, and that is going to change the landscape. That's even going to add stronger care for the children and the families in this area. So I don't think you could really compare the two. Raleigh has many more choices of top healthcare. In fact, people come here from all around the country to get healthcare at those hospitals. So for families who want comprehensive nearby medical resources, Raleigh is definitely the clear winner. Another important thing when considering making a move to an area is how safe the location is for your peace of mind and for your family. Safety is always a top priority for relocating families. Cary, Apex, Holly Springs, the suburbs of Raleigh consistently rank among the safest towns in North Carolina. There's strong community engagement, excellent schools, and well-maintained neighborhoods. Wilmington also has wonderful, safe communities, but overall, it does have a higher crime rate in several districts, especially around the downtown. So if you're looking for stability and peace of mind, you may want to select some of the suburbs of the Raleigh area, the Cary, Apex, and Holly Springs towns. And then when it comes to education and schools, this is always a deciding factor for families who are looking to relocate to the area. Wake County Public Schools has an excellent public school system. There's plenty of magnet schools as well as STEM pathways, the arts, the sports programs. And then one of the final things you should consider if you are thinking about either Wilmington or Raleigh is access to the airport. Raleigh International Airport has grown over the years, dozens of nonstop flights, both internationally and domestic. In fact, every year they're adding more and more flights. And it's a relatively easy airport to travel in and out of. Commute times from most of the suburbs around Raleigh is about 20 minutes to the airport. And as I mentioned, the airport, even though it has a lot of great options for travel, it's a mid-sized airport. So you can get in and out of the airport very easily. Going through TSA is usually a breeze, and it really makes travel pleasant. And then when you compare that to the Wilmington airport, Wilmington is going to be a lot smaller. It's more of a regional airport. So if you are traveling for work or you like to travel a lot for pleasure, you may want to consider the Raleigh area. Otherwise, you're going to be probably driving to Raleigh to take those flights, both internationally and domestic. So if you're relocating and trying to decide which city truly aligns with your lifestyle, your career, and your long-term goals, reach out anytime, call or text me. I'm happy to help you make a confident decision and find the community where you and your family can thrive. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next video for luxury living in the Triangle.